Yeah, so little different setup this time. I don't have any means to do video right now, so we're just kind of shooting this podcast style. But if you don't know who I am, if you're coming across this channel from somewhere else, I'm Zach. This is In House Studios. We have a Scream fan film, Scream Legacy, on our channel that you should check out if you don't know about it. And I got a good friend of mine, Gabriel Kaner, on the podcast with me. He was heavily involved in Scream Legacy, and just yesterday it was a 2 year anniversary. Fun fact, isn't that crazy, man? 2 years,
Yeah,
two
that's crazy,
years.
man. Absolutely crazy. Time flies,
It's like
especially when
you,
we've got two Scream movies coming out. We had five and six come out since we shot Legacy, so we really have been having a good time as Scream fans.
yeah, we've been blessed. In a roundabout way, not everybody's been a fan of the stuff they've blessed us with, but it is what it is. It's still content at the end of the day, and there's stuff to like about both movies. But I have noticed, man, that as time goes on, I'm just not really the biggest fan of five and six like I was when they first came out. I guess it's because it was, you know, the initial shock of like, oh shit, we got a Scream movie again. It's been 10, 11 years. But I guess after that wore down and, after multiple rewatches, and I know we've talked about this before, I probably sound like a broken record right now, but yeah, they've kind of waned a little bit. But there's still a few things to like about both movies. But can you help me out here, man? Was something announced like recently? Uh, you want to fill everybody in?
Oh, it was about that sequel to that one movie that has had a lot of other sequels, like at least five other sequels already.
Yeah,
Uh
just a fucking bombshell that Nev Campbell dropped one day out of nowhere. Like, oh hey, by the way, I'm doing Scream 7 and Kevin Williamson's directing. It's like, okay. I remember when I
yeah,
called you that day and told you about it, you freaked out.
yeah, man, I'm so glad that you're the one who told me, instead of me just like scrolling through Instagram and seeing it. Because I hadn't seen it yet, and you were just like, "Go check out Nev Campbell's Instagram." So I went to it, and I saw the writers, and I was like, "All right, they got Guy Busick writing it, and they've." I was like, "All right, this all looks normal." But then I got to the bottom where it said directed by Kevin Williamson, and I was like, "No way!" I totally cried tears of joy. Like he's my hero as a screenwriter, and uh, I'm so excited that I think Jordan put it best. Scream is back in the hands of its creator.
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted you to find out like the legit way. I didn't want to spoil it for you. I was like, hey bro, go check out Nev Campbell's Instagram, man. So
Yeah. Yeah, that
yeah,
was
that was that
awesome.
was that was cool, man. And this fucking movie has had such a tumultuous pre-production, dude. Like, I know please forgive me. What's the director's name? He was originally gonna do it.
Christopher Landon.
Landon, yeah. And then you had Melissa Barrera drop out, Jenna Ortega drop out with all these conflicting reports on why they dropped out, but we don't have to get into all that. But I'll be honest with you, man. That really doesn't bother me. Like for going into the seventh movie, I mean, like I don't. It's okay that they're both not in the movie. I wasn't the biggest fan of the core four shit. I think they went a little too crazy with it in the sixth one. But I think at the end of the day, they've had their two experiences. I mean, you can only do so much. I feel like they closed the door with that chapter. First it was Richie, then it was Richie's family coming to finish them off, and now all that's done. I really don't see where they could have gone with those girls again. So I think it's cool that they're shifting focus back to Sydney. Because it started
Yeah,
with her, it's got to end with her.
yeah, definitely. I think the Carpenter sisters, they're great characters, and I'm really glad we had those two movies, not just with those characters, but also with Chad and Mindy and the rest of the new faces. But that being said, I think the Scream franchise, and this can't be said for every franchise, but per my opinion, I think the Scream franchise has done everything right. Like I wouldn't change a single thing. Uh, I love all six movies, and I just rewatched five and six just last week, and I think it was the first time that I actually watched them back to back. I watched five and then six right after. And
Mm.
usually, I don't think I've done that, and that was a really fun experience, just experiencing both of those newer Scream films that way. Uh, But yeah, there was a while I was getting concerned about Scream 7, man. I honestly thought the franchise was done after 6. I thought, 6 was a high point. So I thought, I honestly thought Scream 7 wasn't going to happen at this point. So I was very surprised when Kevin Williamson was announced as the director, and I couldn't be happier. So I'm just glad we're
Yeah.
getting a Scream 7. I thought it was just going to dissolve into a TV series like what they're doing with Halloween now. But yeah, I couldn't be happier at the surprise.
Yeah, and you liked 5 and 6, right?
Oh yeah, I
You're
love them.
high on those movies. And I'm not. I know we have conflicting opinions. I'm not the biggest fan of those two movies. And dude, you and whoever else, if y'all like 5 and 6, that's fucking awesome, man. Y'all enjoy the shit out of it. But I think with me, it's the setup was good, the idea was good. I guess for me, it's just the execution. Like I just hated the killers and like the antics and the acting, the overacting, and just all these little plot inconsistencies with the killers. But overall, like I said, the ideas were great. Um, but I was gonna say I think it was a fun experiment. You got that shit out of the way. Now let's get back to Nev Campbell, man. Like there's some unfinished business there, especially with the dream scenario that I want. If they bring back a certain somebody, which it's been the talk of the town for the last, I don't know, fucking 15 years. Is Stu Macher ever gonna come back and finish the story or whatever? But yeah, man, I probably sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but I am so with the idea of Stu coming back and like doing this one last hoorah with Sydney, you know? So, whether they actually do that, who knows? But man, it's set up perfectly to pull the trigger if they want to do it, dude.
It really is. And knowing Kevin Williamson and how meta and self aware he is, I could totally see him pulling a Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And I've touched upon this before, but I think I think at this point the question would be, if they did go a similar route, the question is uh how much do you commit to that? Because I feel like that would be I feel like it would have to sort of go bounce back and forth between the narrative of Sidney Prescott and the characters and the actual Scream franchise that we're already invested in as a narrative. But then I
Mm-hmm.
think if they did go that route and like Nev Campbell is a character playing herself in the movie, but she's also playing Sydney, it would be as if in Wes Craven's New Nightmare, the movie that Wes Craven was writing was already being filmed.
Right.
And I feel like that could be something I could see Kevin Williamson trying to do something totally crazy and original and bounce back and forth between the quote unquote real life narrative of Nev Campbell and the cast making a new Scream movie, or and then bouncing into the narrative of the actual film. I think that would be something that'd be really unique, and I feel like Kevin Williamson might be one of the few people creative and talented enough to pull it off well. I just
Mm-hmm.
watched a film that a friend of mine recommended to me called One Cut of the Dead. It's a 2017 Japanese film. It's on Shutter, and it's incredible. I think it's my new favorite Japanese film, and that movie seamlessly does that so well, jumping in and out, back and forth between the movie within the movie
Mm-hmm.
that they're making and then the story of the filmmakers making that movie. And I feel like Scream 7 could be an opportunity to do that, but I don't think it should by any means completely abandon the Sydney storyline. You know what I mean? That would be disappointing to Sydney fans for sure. So I think they should definitely, if he were to go that crazy, wacky route, completely out of left field, I think he would still have to commit to Sydney's story and the story of the narrative within the actual films, but also it could do
Yeah.
something new by having the actors play themselves.
You think that would take people out of it a little bit since the movies aren't really known for that?
I think it would. It would be risky. It would be very, very risky, and
Yeah.
but that's why I think Kevin Williamson would be the really the only one who could pull that off. And also, it's just such in the wheelhouse of the Wes Craven lore and everything.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of I'll be honest with you, man. I'm kind of bummed out that he's not writing this one. Because I wasn't really a fan of a lot of the writing. in the last two, and I know it was a combination of Vanderbilt and Busick. Who wrote what, we'll never know. But I don't know, man. I feel like if he would have told them, like when they made the decision to let him just direct it, like, hey, you just want to direct this? Like, yeah, well, let me just hammer out a script while I'm at it. But I don't know, man. It just kind of makes me wonder like why he isn't writing it too. It's like you pretty much got the whole thing in the bag already. Why not just do your own story, kind of deviate from the last two and get that away and just kind of start fresh. But it is what it
Yeah,
is. I guess they have their own system. Maybe Kevin's talked to the writer, or is it are both writers coming back or just one of them?
it's just Guy Busick coming back, but the story is by Busick and James Vanderbilt.
Okay, okay. Well,
So
maybe Kevin and Guy were like maybe they have a plan, an idea, so maybe Kevin had a little hand in it. One, who knows? That'd be
yeah,
cool.
I totally get where you're coming from though, but I have a feeling that with Kevin Williamson directing, I feel like there's nothing in that script that he hasn't approved. That's nothing's going to get by him that he hasn't approved. So I'm pretty confident in that, and I feel like probably that's probably why they have one technically sole writer on this. Probably is because he's probably going to
Yeah.
work so well in tandem with Kevin Williamson. Because having three writers would probably just be too much. And James Vanderbilt is a great writer. I love The Amazing Spider-Man, which he wrote, uh, and he's
I
written a
forgot.
bunch
I
of
forgot
other
he
stuff.
wrote that. I forgot he wrote that.
Yeah, like the first Amazing Spider-Man script is a fantastic script that he did. There was other co-writers on it as well, but yeah,
And that
yeah.
movie got a lot of overrated hate, man. I'm a big fan of Amazing Spider-Man. Didn't really, obviously the second one that goes without saying, but the first one, man, that was a pretty good story. But I think people were just burnt out on the whole like origin story again. But yeah, it was a good script.
Did you know that James Vanderbilt named the character of Amber in Scream 5 after his wife? Literally the exact same name, Amber Freeman.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I like when people
yeah,
do that. I like when they put meaning into their names. There's a reason they're named this or they're named after somebody or something instead of like people just going on a generator like give me a list of names. Like every script I write, I try to like find um homage, either an homage or naming them after somebody, uh, and stuff like that. Which we have a script. If any fans of Scream Legacy are listening, I have a script for a part two that you've actually helped me with in a few areas. But there are some names in this movie was for some new characters that are kind of homages to older horror films.
oh
And
yeah.
I think that's a common trope in horror movies, and it's kind of cool to do like with movies like this. You kind of name somebody after somebody. But yeah, that's cool. I didn't know he named Amber after his wife. That's crazy. I hope she's not as crazy as Scream 5 Amber was. So I
Yeah,
guess
she
she's
probably
not
got a
since I guess she's not since he's still here. So
yeah, she probably got a kick out of that. But yeah, that's cool. I didn't find that out until just like recently.
yeah, I like that, man. I like that. So let me move on to my next question. And you kind of already answered this with the whole Kevin Williamson doing the wacky thing where it's like meta, meta, meta. But if we were just gonna do strictly narrative story, what put your writer glasses on real quick. Give me what would you do? What direction would you go for assuming it's going to be the last one ever? I mean, I really don't think they're going to keep making these. I'm sure Nev Campbell at some point is going to be like, "All right, let's close this out, man." But where would you go if you were behind this?
Well,
And I hate
if
to
we're
put you on
sticking,
the spot, but it's just I'm curious.
oh
I'm
no,
curious.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. All right.
You know, I think if we're sticking strictly to narrative, which can completely work on its own because it's already worked 6 times for this franchise, I think honestly it'd be cool to be an homage to Scream 3. This is the third film in this new trilogy. So, you know, take it back to Hollywood or something. They can be making another stab, but it doesn't have to weave in and out of the movie within a movie and the real life narrative. I think that could be interesting. Or, because I think Woodsboro is totally played out at this point. And if they
Yeah, I
don't want
think
to
so
do
too.
if they don't want to do Hollywood again, they could do there's you know, they can it can be a commentary on how filmmaking how Hollywood isn't the only hub of filmmaking anymore. They could really take it anywhere. Like they already shot Scream 2 in Atlanta. They could go back to Atlanta, but honestly, I feel like it's probably going to be in England or something, or wherever Sydney is,
Ooh,
somewhere
interesting.
in another country. I don't think it'll be in the US for the majority of it, if I were to take a wild guess.
That sounds awfully familiar, man. Sydney being overseas.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut that part out. I don't want people knowing what I'm doing in the Legacy sequel.
Well, I
But
thought Sydney was isn't it canon? I thought Sydney was in like England or something, or am I just getting that mixed up with Nev Campbell living in London or something? I don't know.
I think it's a combination of getting confused with the fact that she might live over there and maybe the sequel to Scream Legacy because I have her in Paris. Like
Okay.
she lives in Paris, but I'll cut some of that out. But yeah, England, man, that would be, or just anywhere overseas. That would be interesting, because they already did it with New York, which was cool, but I don't feel like they utilized New York as much as they should have. But if we're going to Europe, man, that would be cool. And you got to bring back Patrick Dempsey, right? You have to. You can't.
Oh yeah.
You can't not bring him. But he's got to come back for this. I
Oh
think
yeah.
it's the perfect opportunity to bring him back as well.
And he was just in Thanksgiving. He was great in that. And
Yeah,
uh I freaking love Thanksgiving, by the way. It's probably my new favorite movie of the last couple of years. I
yeah,
love Eli
that was a good
Roth.
surprise. That was a good surprise.
I'm just happy that slasher movies like that are still being made. And I feel like, movies like Halloween 2018 and the new Screams really, and Happy Death Day really helped pave the way in the last several years, 6 or 7 years, for slasher movies.
You're right. I mean, it really has paved the way for movies like this, and I think hopefully the we can get a new age of slashers and stuff. But yeah, going back to Patrick Dempsey, you got to bring him back. I don't know if there's any other characters. Like, what do we do with? Do we bring Chad and Mindy back? I mean, they don't really know Sydney. They barely met her. I don't even think they did meet her.
I don't
In
think they did.
Scream
Yeah.
5. I don't think they did. So it's like they really wouldn't fit into this. Like I don't see where they would fit into this. And I'm trying to think if there's any other older characters that they could possibly bring back just for the hell of it. Um, I don't know. What do you think, man? Everybody's fucking dead at this point.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
s-
as much as I love Chad and Mindy and Mason Gooding, I think he's really, really good in Scream 5 and 6, especially 6. I just don't see any any reason that makes sense for him to come back, especially if Tara's not in it.
yeah,
Uh,
and
but
also I hate to cut you off, man, but it's like Chad should have died in 6. That was the perfect opportunity for him to like sacrifice himself for them to get away. Like that really pissed me off. I remember when we first saw that in theaters, that really pissed me off. It was going so well. He sacrifices himself. They kill him. A great noble death scene. And then, of course, at the very end, they wheel him out on a stretcher. And it's like, you've got to be fucking kidding me, dude. Like, stabs don't mean anything anymore in these movies. And that really upsets me. Because I remember back in the day, like one stab to the gut would kill somebody or one stab to the back. But now you have Chad getting stabbed. I wonder if anybody counted out there how many times he got stabbed. It had to have been 12 to 15, I guess. But it's like, dude, how do you live that? No one's living that, bro. Like, and even if they do, it's a miracle, man. But it's just the setup was too good, man. It was written as a good death scene. That was a good death scene, but they fucked it all up. And
yeah,
then of course Jenna Ortega, God, dude, she gets that third act, man, she gets stabbed in the back, in the shoulder, in the fucking gut, dude. And when you have a knife that's damn near as big as her fucking torso, it's like, how is this little girl living through this shit, man, and walking fine at the end of the movie? But, anyways, dude, I could bitch about that all night, but just I don't even know why I skewed off into that. Oh, it's because I was talking about Chad, but yeah, man,
well,
it
I
is
mean,
what it is.
I think if they knew what was going to happen to Scream 7, they probably might have killed off Chad
Yeah,
if they since
yeah.
they were like if they because they probably were thinking, oh, we should keep him alive to bring him back for the last one. But I feel like I feel like yeah, they probably would have killed him off had they known where 7 would go. I did hear Radio Silence talk about how Scream 6 is really a secret action feel good movie. It's secretly an action movie and it's secretly a feel good movie. And I totally agree with those.
Hmm.
Uh, I feel like Scream 6 is definitely if Scream 5 is Radio Silence making a Wes Craven movie, I feel like Scream 6 is Radio Silence making a John Carpenter movie. And you can totally see their escape from New York, their love for Escape from New York all throughout Scream 6. And that's what I love about the whole ladder sequence is, and also Scream is just a really good franchise when it comes to not only having great scare chase sequences, but
Mhm.
they're also sort of just really great fight action sequences rolled up into scare scenes. And that's something that I thought Scream 6 really excelled at in terms of the actual action and not just the scares, because especially in the earlier Screams it was less of the emphasis on the action and more on the scares, because Ghostface is just flopping around like a noodle and falling all over the place.
Yeah, yeah, falling over chairs and shit. Well, I think every Scream film, you got to have some fights, action scenes. I think every fucking movie out there, even fan films, including ours, you got to have fights and punches thrown and all kinds of shit. But I will say I do like it better when Ghostface isn't clumsy and like a big fucking loof and trips over shit. It was so bad that they parodied that in Scary Movie. They made Ghostface just a fucking clumsy idiot. It works great for Scary Movie, but I'm glad they got away from that in the Scream movies. But yeah, you're totally right, dude. I could see it being more on the action side, and they really played it up in Scream 6 as much as there. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff I don't like about that movie, but I did love the set pieces. The bodega scene, the ladder scene, and the subway scene were three well crafted sequences, and I think it's something that will live on and kind of outweigh the killer stuff, which I know was a big letdown for a lot of people. That's what they're going to remember, the set pieces, instead of the killers, which I fucking hated all three of the killers. But you know,
And
um, go ahead.
I sort of admire how Radio Silence, how Matt and Tyler, they didn't just try to go for all the obvious New York spots. They could have very easily gone for the Empire State Building or Central Park, but I'm kind of glad that they just made a movie about these characters. They just happen to live in New York. It's not necessarily plausible for crazy kills to happen and all these landmark monuments. So I feel like if Scream 7 is in Europe or something, I feel like it'll be similar. I don't think there's going to be a kill at Big Ben or anything, or a Tower Bridge or London Bridge. I feel like it's going to emanate sort of shades of probably Jack the Ripper and stuff, a killer who was never caught, and they could really sort of have echoes of that and utilize London in that sense.
That's a good idea, man. I think you just stumbled onto something there with this Jack the Ripper thing. All these years later, now there's a Ghostface killer in Europe. That's pretty cool.
Because they never caught Jack the Ripper, so it
No,
would be it would be like also sort of that nagging feeling of, man, maybe we won't catch this ghost face. What if there's a ghost face that never gets caught? So
that's
just
that's what I was about to
because
say. Like, what if he gets away? Just like Jack the Ripper. That's a different twist too.
now I don't see that happening because it's the final movie in the franchise, but I feel like that would just sort of add to the dread, because they're like, what if this is like a Jack the Ripper slash Ghostface copycat? So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I think that'd be cool, man. Overseas, wherever Sydney is, if she's off the grid, I think it'd be cool to kind of play on that. But I'm open to anything, honestly, as long as it's just a good story. I've always been, like I said earlier, I've always been a fan of the idea of Stu coming back and maybe having like pulling some strings, having some people kill for him, and he's part of a bigger network or something like that. Or even if it's just him doing all the killing. I think that'd be fucking awesome, man. But I'm not opposed to new stories, new killers. I just want them to be done right, man. Like I said, I was just very underwhelmed by all of the last killers, 5 and 6. Good performances, good actors. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm knocking. I'm just knocking like, the writing of the killers and stuff like that. But yeah, that's where I would go. As opposed to doing a normal story, I would go the Stu route. Let's bring him back, man. Let's complete this shit. You know, I just think that would be so cool. And people might say, "Oh, that's fan service," but I think if you wrote it well, people wouldn't look at it as just fan service. It's been in such high demand over the years. Where's Stu? And they even fucking alluded to it in Scream 6. That's the TV that killed Stu Macher. And what did she say? I'm paraphrasing here, but she says something like, "If you even think he's dead," or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, come on,
Yeah.
man. Hey, come on, dude.
Yeah, it's funny because Matt and Tyler of Radio Silence, I don't remember which one. One of them believes Stu is dead, one of them doesn't. Uh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I actually was just scrolling through Instagram and I see a bunch of convention stuff, and Matthew Lillard was at a convention, at a horror convention, and
Oh shit.
there was like a little girl came up to him in his costume. She was in like all bloody from the ending costume from Scream One, and she had
Hmm.
like a TV over her head, and she's a zombie. And he got a kick out of that costume. He was taking pictures of it and everything. I was like, that's a really clever costume, like having dead Stu with the TV still on his head, but he's a zombified Stu.
Well, so it's funny that you said that about Matt and Tyler. So let me ask you this: like, I think Stu could still be alive. What do you think he's alive or no?
Because it's the Scream universe, I will say yes, he's alive, but realistically, I don't think he would have survived that TV.
Yeah, because a lot of people fail to forget he was also like gutted by Billy fucking cut him too deep. You know, like he didn't just get a TV thrown on him. He also had fucking God knows how many stab wounds. And I think did he get stabbed by Sydney? Never stabbed him, right? They just got in the fight and he threw her in the other room. She hit him with the pot and then so yeah, okay. I don't think she stabbed him. Oh, she
Yeah,
stabbed Billy with the umbrella. That's what I'm thinking of.
didn't she just put her thumb in his bullet hole?
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what
It
it was. I knew
was
she
yeah,
did something to him.
yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people fail to forget that, dude. He was also stabbed, man, like deep. But hey,
And,
again, in the Scream movies, stabs don't mean shit anymore, apparently. So
and I mean, anyone who's picked up a tube TV, even a small one, knows that they're not light. It's not like picking up
yeah,
a flat screen.
yeah,
But realistically, but Scream isn't a realistic franchise. It's not necessarily supposed to be. So yeah, I think Stu is still alive.
yeah. And let me tell you something. I grew up with those TVs. Like those TVs were the TVs we watched when I was a kid, and those motherfuckers were not light at all.
Yeah, that's what I watch all my VHS tapes on.
Nice, nice. So yeah, I mean, having that fall in your fucking face, dude. I mean, come on, it. You and somebody could say, "Oh, well, he put his hands up. Maybe his hands covered his face," but still, his body was there, man. So who knows? Who knows? Like I said, I love the idea of Stu coming back. I think it's the perfect chance because Dewey's gone, Billy's gone, Randy's gone. Like, there's really nothing much else to do
It would
aside
just have to.
from aside from writing new characters. I mean, like think bringing Stu back would be like the perfect 1v1 Stu versus Sydney. And then you could bring Gail back, but I mean, honestly, what the fuck can you do with Gail anymore? She kind of they didn't really do shit with her in 6. So, I mean, what can you do with her? Like, there's really not much left to do with her, you know?
I feel like the whole sequence that she had with Ghostface, that was cool because it was Gail's first time having a phone call with Ghostface, which was really surprising when I figured
That
that
is
out.
surprising. Yeah.
But
She almost did in the second movie, but Randy grabbed her phone, right?
yeah, you're right. I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that.
But let me ask you this.
Uh,
Do you think she should have died there
in Scream Six, hmm,
or no?
I feel like Scream Seven is gonna justify her not dying there. Definitely. I don't. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think she necessarily should have died there. I think that sequence was just awesome enough on its own. Like whether or not she died, I don't think necessarily mattered in terms of the rest of that sequence just being an awesome Gale versus Ghostface sequence. Because you can tell, like by this point, what was cool about that sequence is Gale. She knew what she was doing in a lot of ways, like how she hung up the phone, and she's like, "Please hold," and the Ghostface is like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and then she rings. She makes the phone ring again and then shoots towards the ringing. Like Gail, you can tell she had been thinking for a while what she would have done if Ghostface attacked again, and that was it.
Well, I know one mistake she made is not having enough security,
Yeah,
but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, man, let's start wrapping this up, dude. If you got any like final and obviously, dude, we could do many more of these because as the months go on, there's probably going to be more news, more updates, stuff like that. So we can always come back to this and do more episodes of this. This could be like episode 1 of, you know, Scream Talk or whatever, you know, talking about Scream 7 and other Scream stuff that might be going on like, you know, I don't know, fan films or something. And if we ever decide to pull the trigger, well, not if, but when down the road, we can talk about that as well. But yeah, we could do more of these as development goes on. But any like final thoughts?
I think when it comes to the Scream franchise, it's a formula that works. And when it comes to, I think with Scream, it's such a unique style and unique sensibility that it really doesn't matter where you set it, as long as you stick to those rules and stick to the formula that Kevin Williamson set forth in '96. I feel like it doesn't matter if it's Woodsboro, if it's London, New York. I think as long as you stick to that set of rules, then I think they can make a killer Scream movie, especially, with the original characters still being around. So, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's going to be great. I have nothing but high hopes for it.
Yeah, me too, man. Especially with Kevin behind the helm, and Nev back in the driver's seat. Hopefully, I'm hoping it's going to be her in the lead role. I did see something they're looking for two or three new actors, but hopefully they're not like lead roles over Sydney. I don't want Sydney relegated to like a supporting role, like fuck it, man. Make this about her. She's coming back. You got Kevin directing. Make it about Sydney, dude. You can cast around her. Maybe she has new friends, new acquaintances. Although you and I both know Sydney wouldn't really have a group of friends, but yeah, man, just make it about her. Don't throw her to the wayside like you did with Six, and completely left her out of the movie. But yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree.
Yeah, maybe
And
there
I'm
will be a time jump. Maybe her kids will be older. Who knows?
oh, that'd be interesting. Like get Grandma Sydney in there now.
I don't know about Grandma Sydney, but I feel like uh yeah, I don't know. I think a time jump could be kind of cool, especially if they wanted to make I guess Sydney has a daughter. That's what it sounded like. If they wanted to make Sydney's daughter like 17 or 18, like around Sydney's age in the first movie, to really bring it back full circle.
Yeah,
If they
and she
wanted
could
to do
come
that,
home. She could come home to Woodsboro and visit her grandfather, Neil Prescott, and shit could hit the fan. And unlike our fan film, Sydney can actually join her this time or something. So that'd be interesting, man.
yeah, I didn't even yeah, yeah, the
No, that was just a
possibilities are
shame. That was just
endless.
a shameless plug to our fan film. By the way, I like to give shameless plugs, but
Oh yeah, yeah, everyone check it out.
again, yeah, check it out if you haven't seen it on the channel. And I get bombarded with questions all the time about a sequel, man. Sequel this, sequel that, sequel that. But I've kind of alluded to it on social media. But yeah, we do have a script. We have a full script, feature length film. And it's the classic Scream 3-act setup. There's it's funny that we've been talking about Kevin Williamson and what you said about laying the foundation for Scream movies, and I took a lot of inspiration from that. I think it's a pretty well crafted screenplay in terms of following the precedent that he laid on the acts and structures of these movies. So I'm really
Yeah,
excited for people to see what we do for a sequel to Scream Legacy.
I
So
agree. I'm excited. I feel like we've seen the movie in our heads, but no one else gets to see it for a while. But that's part of the fun, is making it
as
happen and creating it.
it's part of the process, man. Just like Scream 7, we got to wait a while to see what they're going to do. And until then, we can just keep doing podcasts every time some breaking news comes out or whatever. We can sit down and talk about it, man. But it'll be fun. It's always a fun ride to discuss and theorize. But yeah, that'll do it, man. We can bounce out of here. We'll do this again when when the time comes, and we can talk about other stuff too. We don't have to talk. We don't just have to talk about Scream, but yeah,
We
man.
do
Hey,
watch other movies.
yeah, exactly. Like we do watch a shit ton of other movies. We're both filmmakers. That's what we do. That's the industry we work in. So I'm more than happy to talk about any movie or franchise, but we can make it a common occurrence, man. But
Yeah, just a
uh
celebration of movies.
exactly, man. I don't feel that's celebrated enough. But appreciate you coming on, dude. It's always nice to talk to you. I love our conversations, but we'll do
Yeah,
this
of
again,
course,
man.
anytime. Absolutely, anytime.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. Well, we'll get out of here. If anybody's still listening at this point, I hope you are. go to the comments, man. Write down what you would do for Scream 7. What do you think's gonna happen? What do you think they're gonna do? Like, I would love to hear what other people think. Write down your thoughts and ideas and shit. So let's talk about it in the comments. So, but until then, we're out of here, man. Thanks for joining, bro.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for tuning in.